Welcome to my morning respite, a place to gain rest and inspiration. Join me as I read this piece entitled Fulfilling. Fulfilling. The act of fulfillment. The act of your fulfillment. What does it do? Where does it take you? Fulfillment. From this word, we are full. But before we become full, we first must get filled. Fulfillment. But where is this filling coming from? Do we know the source from which we must draw in order to be filled? The source. There must be a beginning before an end is reached. In order for our fulfillment to begin to even make sense to us, but in any sense, how can we know when we are filled in order to receive this fullness? Well, our senses may be somewhat suggestive, but so much more occurs beyond what we ourselves may perceive. Think for a moment. Now stop. Stop trying to think. For our own thoughts hold us back from reaching that fulfilling point. So then, we must let go. Stop thinking. Let that source be the source of the fuel that fills you up, wells you up inside so much it doesn't allow you to retain all that you are receiving. It is so much inspiration that you get that you begin to swell, and then all that inspiration bursts through you as an overwhelming joy. That is, once you take your mind to rest for the moment and just be you. Just you, just as you see life, just as you see your life. Do not ignore you. Do not ignore yourself. Fulfillment. How can we accomplish this? Well, what is it that you do that takes you somewhere else? That comes naturally to you, causing you to travel to this quiet place inside of you? Well, what you are actually doing is that very thing. That action, whatever it may be, is actually transporting you to that invisible sanctuary. So that then and only then can you begin to even imagine the wells of inspiration flowing deep inside of you. Your very action is that fuel that takes you to that sanctuary, that invisible sanctuary. But this thing that you do was always seeded inside of you, somewhere, deeply planted from the very beginning, only for you to use for the benefit of others, not for your own self, but for others. Fulfillment. You see, that fulfilling feeling, it is not the type of satiety that you get once hunger is satisfied or even thirst quenched. It is way more far-reaching, much beyond even our own understanding. Fulfillment. So then, this can only be reached through the service that we give, that act of service, that act of kindness, that act of gentleness, the act of offering, the act of sacrificing, that act, the action that may help to reduce the burden of someone else. It is this act, the act of fulfilling, once done from beginning to end, that brings to completion this word fulfillment.